All right, so the buyer's broker agreement is live, right, for you realtors out there. Big change in the market, all right? If you're a buyer or a realtor, we're gonna go through a few things. Listen up, all right? So it is a big change, a lot of stuff to deal with, a lot of moving parts, a lot of confusion as well. So buyer broker agreement happened. What that means is that now the seller is not responsible anymore to pay for the buyer's agent's compensation, okay? Long story short, I'm not gonna get the ins and outs of it. It's not my lane, okay? But what it does mean is that most buyer's agents out there are going to get a buyer broker agreement, which is going to be where the agent and the buyer agree to the buyer's agent's compensation, okay? How much they're gonna pay at closing. For this example, we're gonna use 3%, okay? 3% is the number we're gonna use because that's what we're gonna use, all right? So, buyer broker agreement, 3%, buyer agrees, they're gonna pay that buyer's agent that money, okay? The goal is, I'm sure when the agent is out there looking for properties, they're going to try to get the seller to pay that part, or that portion. And from what I'm gathering right now, it's early on, a lot of the sellers are already willing to do this. It's already like expected, so you may see this not even be a hiccup for you, okay? But in the cases where the seller will not pay that money, okay? Maybe it's a multiple offer situation, all right? And they're like, nope, ain't no way in hell, we're not paying that, whatever. Then the buyer has to pay the buyer's agent that money, okay? Have to. It's an agreement. Now, where it can get kind of tricky is with a loan, when there's a loan involved. And that's what I want to talk about. So when you do a loan, when we go do a loan, by the way, the pre-approval part, we want to know what that borrower's total cash to close limit is for them. Like how much do they want to bring to closing? How much are they comfortable with? 0, 5,000, 100,000, 200,000, whatever the number is, okay? We want to know what that number is, and then we want to back that loan, the sales price, everything back into that. Well, when you're out there looking for a home and you need financing, your lender has to know what your buyer's agent and you have agreed upon, okay? We've got to know this because we've got to have it planned into the rest of our closing costs, all right? So when we talk about your pre-approval to you, we can talk to you about this total amount of cash to close, all right? So that's one part of this. The second part is when the seller is willing to contribute towards your closing costs. It's a good thing, okay? Sellers in our market, right? We're coming up on fourth quarter of 2024. Sellers are more willing to pay for this stuff, okay? The seller concessions in Southwest Florida where we're at. Now, there are limits to seller concessions, all right? And it depends on the loan program. For this conversation, it's going to be FHA, okay? FHA says they'll allow the seller to contribute 6% of the sales price towards the buyer's closing cost, all right? 6%. So sometimes when we do a loan, 6% covers all of their closing costs, okay? But it's kind of like right there at the limit. When you add in insurance and taxes and title work, government charges, lender's fees, etc., excuse me, it can equal out to be where it's over the 6%, okay? It happens. Now, what's going to happen though is when the seller is not willing also to contribute to, or contribute more than that, and then you have the buyer broker agreement percentage, 3%, right? That's the number we're using. That 3% is added to our borrower. Well, now that's over the FHA limit, okay, of 6%. Follow me? 9%. Right, is what it equals. Now what FHA, VA, and conventional all have gotten together, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they're allowing it to be over that amount. So they're allowing it to be over that 6% of FHA, so going to 9%. So you can get the seller to still agree to paying that amount of money, and they'll just add it on top of the allowed seller concessions. All right, same with VA, same with conventional. So it's again, something extra out there to be, for you guys to structure the contracts, but all of this boils down to having conversations with your lender, okay? I can't stress that enough. Just keep your lender in the loop on the properties you like, keep your lender in the loop on what you're getting charged, and then you find something you want to offer on, or the seller counters back on something, right? Have that conversation with the lender. Hey, can you run the numbers now with this amount or that amount, whatever it may be. you need to always constantly make sure that you can qualify for the mortgage and it's a mortgage you want to get. All right. So again, a lot of moving parts to this buyer's broker agreement. If you want further content about this, maybe you want to go deeper on something, just post in the comments, send me a message, whatever you want. We can go deeper on something. If you want to do a training, if you're a realtor watching this, y'all want to have a conversation in the office, I'm happy to help too. I normally don't solicit this type of stuff at the end of the videos, but it feels fitting because it can be a very, very confusing thing out there. All right. So anyways, if you're out there and you need help getting pre-approved, call me up. 239-437-4278, or you just got basic questions, we're here for you. Email, hit me up in the DMs, comment below, whatever you want to do. Subscribe, don't forget that. All right? Have a great day, everybody.